Hello everyone. I'm going to make a homemade yogurt. The quantity is going to be a little bit more than average because I make about for 1.5 gallons at a time of milk, and the ingredients basically are very simple. It's Indian method. I'll be using 2% milk, and I will pour it in this deep pot. I have a very little amount of water at the bottom, just so that it doesn't really catch the surface. And this is the final product from the previous batch yogurt, which I will use as a starting point after everything is boiled and brought to normal temperature. So I'm going to pour milk in this pot, and let's see if it holds 1.5 gallons or not. So 1 gallon, no problems. I have to leave some space on the top. Okay, so this is going fine. So I'll leave it up to here, okay? So I'm left with this, so a little less than 1.5 gallons. All right, now I'll place it on a stove with very low flame, okay? Okay, so this is sitting on a very low flame on the stove, and the pot size is pretty big. It has little less than 1.5 gallons of 2% milk. And what I'll do is I will let it warm up and then boil up to this point, and then let it go back. So we have to watch for it. It takes a little time, at least 30 minutes. So I don't have to sit and watch, but I know from experience that this is how long it takes. All right, so we'll leave it and we'll check after half an hour. Thank you. I'm following up after 30 minutes, and the still the milk has not reached to the boiling point. So I will leave it for another 30 minutes and then see how it goes. I'm following up after 15 minutes in the second 30-minute cycle. So basically from the start we have gone through like 45 minutes, and it has not reached to the boiling point, but it's very close. So I'll let it go to the boiling point before I stop, and then we'll see what happens. We finished 60 minutes, and still it's not fully boiled. So I'll add another 10 minutes to my timer and see what happens. But this basically tells you that if we take 1.5 gallons, it's a very large quantity to make yogurt. And if you reduce the quantity, it will boil in less time. So if you make half the quantity or 1/4 the quantity, so time should reduce to 1/2 or 1/4. So I'll add another 10 minutes and see if it works for this batch. You can see now the milk has reached to the boiling point. It is now almost boiling and the level is rising. What I'll do is I will turn the fan off, and we are almost like 66 minutes into the process. It's basically because of the quantity and because of the low heat. Okay, so two things you have to keep in mind. All right, so we'll turn our flame off in few seconds. All right, I'm turning the flame off now, and I will now let it cool naturally for maybe an hour. Okay, so I'll follow up after an hour. I'm doing a 60-minute follow-up on the cooling side, and still it is pretty hot, so I'll leave it for another 30 minutes and do follow-up. I'm now 25 minutes into second time slot. which is like 60 plus 25 is 85 minutes, so close to 1.5 hours from this beginning of cooling till right now. So it has taken almost hour and a half to cool down to little bit above the normal temperature, little bit above the normal room temperature right now. So that this is where we want to leave it, and I will now add the seed, basically yogurt, which is from the previous batch. In Hindi we call Dahi, and in Punjabi we call Dahi. So this is basically, I'll add it to this batch that will become the seed for making of yogurt by the process of fermentation. So I'll add 3 serving spoons in this whole batch. 1, 2, 3, and I'll basically mix it nicely. And you can see, like, on the top there was a like we call it malai, or sort of like the floating fat which comes on the top. So you can either remove that, filter it, or you can mix it. It's your choice, but I usually mix everything so that it stays in the batch of milk. So all we did is we boiled milk, we cooled it to temperature and kept it above normal temperature. It's a little on the warmer side, and we added seed yogurt and dahi, and we basically I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to basically wrap it with a towel, which is a cotton. I wrapped the whole thing with a cotton towel, and I will leave it for about 7-8 hours overnight without disturbing it, and check in the morning how it looks. It should come out fine, and I'll take a shot and I'll show to you how it comes out in the morning. Now I'll check the status of the yogurt. I'll remove this cover and check how it is looking inside. So you can see there's a little bit of water on the top, which is normal, and if I can confirm by doing this, you can see the fermentation process has completed and the yogurt is ready. So this is homemade yogurt. You can make of any quantity. I have made large quantity, but you don't have to, since the process time is practically the same. That's why I make large quantity. So this is all done and ready to be refrigerated and ready to be consumed. Thank you for watching.